Good evening. Well, I'm not going for a ride right now, but I'm that excited. I had to start video tonight. I'm doing all sorts of stupid things to get myself ready for the morning. Like, I'm going to make coffee now, so that, there it is. No, that's the wrong one. Come on, there we go. So I'm going to heat it up in the morning, so I'm just going to put it in the microwave. Oh, tomorrow, it's starting a bit early. I'm catching the 5:35 train to La Puebla de Ijar, which is 133 kilometers away. And the idea is that I'm going to ride my way back home via the Via Verde, the Greenway, which is the ride that I was hoping to do last week. I've just shot the last thing with my extra pair of glasses on, which aren't mine. Honestly, honest gov, these ones are my reading glasses that I just put on over my other glasses. Anyway, the other thing I've been doing is getting the bike ready. And so now I have a gravel bike, and there was a bit of a cock-up trying to get some Schwalbe Hurricane tyres. So instead I nipped off to Decathlon and bought these B-Twin Trekking Speed, which are 38mm gravel tyres. You won't be able to see them because the light's not good enough. Let's see if we can get over here. Yeah, that's alright. They've got knobbly bits on the outside, they've got a bit of tread in the middle, and they're 38, so I can run them at 50 pounds pressure. Which hopefully will mean that I don't get constant flats on the gravel that we're running on tomorrow, because it's gravel most of the way, and some of the gravel is poor. I did do this ride 3 years ago, perhaps, on a mountain bike, and there were some bits I had to hike a bike. You had to push it, because you know on railway lines they put the sleepers and the rails on massive bits of gravel this sort of size. Well, they hadn't lifted that, and they said, here you go, this is a cycle path. And it's not. It was like a quagmire. You physically couldn't cycle through it. So it's about 2 kilometers of pushing. So they've admitted now that that isn't done yet. So there is a little bit of a road to do. But there are lots. I don't know, I'm fiddling with my ear. I haven't really got used to the whole idea of being on video yet. Where was I? See, I've lost my track now as well. I'm hopeless at this. A lot of it is pressed dirt, where they haven't been able to get the route back onto the old railway line, and it's just a dirt track that runs along the side of it. And I've had a look at Google Maps, and some of it looks bad. I'll show you a picture now. But just one last look at... Oh, look at it. It's a gravel bike now. I think it looks great. It looks great with its big chunky tyres. Beautiful. Well, we're off and running. It's 5:15 and I'm on my way up to the train station. I've just got told off for putting my bike in the bike slot. It's got to go at the back of the train. And the train is rammed. Excited though, this is the biggest adventure I've had since the old pandemic or anything else. So probably at least 2 years since I've been out. I'll go out every week, most days actually, but this is different. This is on a train. This is going to see the world. The train's been going an hour and 5 minutes and it's just picked up its second passenger. Well, there's light in the sky, so I can see where to go, I hope. So we begin. La Puebla de Ijar. That's the important one. Kilometre 0. So we've had about 200 metres on the road just to get to this access point, and we're on the gravel. Away we go. Well, first impressions are this very top end of the Via Verde is pretty rough. I was hoping to average about 20 kilometers an hour on it. I think that's going to be a bit optimistic. Did I mention it's 3 degrees C? can see me. But so far, absolutely thrilled with the new tyres. I've got them pumped up to 50 psi, and they're just bouncing comfortably over this fairly rocky gravel path. So to give you an idea of today's itinerary, we're on the Via Verde Val de Zafan, which is, as I've mentioned before, Spain's longest greenway. Officially ends in 129 kilometers in Tortosa at the bridge that I showed you previously, but I'm going to be staying on for just over 100 kilometers, and then at Pineda Bray station I'll be rejoining the road network to cycle home for hopefully around 133 kilometers with around 1300 meters of climbing. Coming up to the first interesting bit of the day. This is an aqueduct which was built after the cutting was made so that irrigation could carry on. By the looks of it, we're going into our first tunnel. There are going to be a lot. Tunnels lower down on the Via Verde are pretty good. They've got automatic solar lighting that comes on as someone enters, and they're paved. Whereas this one is pretty rough, no lights. It's getting towards very rough actually. No lights, and well, actually it's a damn sight warmer than it was a minute ago. Oh, my hands were really struggling. You know, it seems a damn sight brighter than when we went into that tunnel. I think we had 30 minutes of comparative darkness before the sun rose. It's looking like it's going to be a beauty. It also looked like animals, probably wild boar, used that. Oh, look at that, straight as a die. Animals use the tunnel because there's lots of large poos in there, so I'm glad we didn't come across a herd of boar. It's our first viaduct, and it's over the River Martin, and all just flowing. That's a surprise. And in the background there is really? So I wasn't really ready for it to be quite so steep, seeing it's a railway line, but this piece is at 4%, which is quite impressive. It was a steam railway line that was commissioned in 1863, but they didn't actually start building until 1891, and even then they only built the very first stage, and it wasn't until the Spanish Civil War that they hurriedly completed the line. Oh, excuse me. I believe as far as the Ebro, and then it was completed in 1942 after the war, using the losing Republican soldiers as slave labour. Unfortunately, there's so many tunnels along the route. One of them collapsed in 1973, so what's that, 31 years of use, and instead of trying to reopen the tunnel, they just shut the whole line. It looks as though the sun has come up whilst I've been in this cutting, which is a bit of a shame, but it should mean I can change to my wraparounds now and stop my eyes from streaming. Yep, definitely sunglasses time. That's the line we came in on. I've just completed my first 10 kilometres. It's a lot rougher than I was expecting. I've really got to concentrate, and my speed is really down. But it's really like being truly in the middle of nowhere. It's there is nothing here. Nothing. More nothing. Lots of nothing. I forgot this part was shared with traffic, so a car's just gone by and it's left rather a lot of dust. I'm really struggling with just how desolate this is. There is not a single tree in sight. You probably see one over my shoulder. I don't think so. There's nothing here. There's no birds. There's no animals. Nothing at all that I can see. It really is incredible. In the unlikely event of any of you wanting to recreate this route in November, bring a peaked cap. It's very difficult to see the road. This seems to be working. And quite suddenly there's irrigation water and orchards, peaches I think. So I'm just coming into Puig Moreno, which is where 3 years ago I thought the Via Verde started, and I was really wrong. Really bad. It was terrible. So I was walking the first part. So now I know better. So we've got a little road stage here for a couple of kilometres before we can get back on the Via Verde again. Very pleasantly surprised how well the gravel tyres did on that really bad section. No real sliding. And they're rolling really well. I'm doing 26 on the tarmac without any effort. So yeah, pretty impressed. Did I mention I was following a railway? Well, I've gone wrong twice. In my defence, this is a little diversion because there's a reservoir down here that I wanted to have a look at. Obviously where all the birds have been hiding. It's noticeably colder here. In the shady bits there's frost. That's just a buzzard. One buzzard. Certainly getting a taste for this off unpaved roads nonsense. That's a big muddy section I just went through. All sorts. No, it's going to be too small to see. There's a marsh harrier out there. One for Graham Barker. Don't know if you can see that. That's Alcañiz station, which is where we started last week. Well, not at the station, we started at the castle. Well, that's one thing you don't want to do with these tyres. Let's go round a roundabout fast on tarmac, because they those shoulders just sort of dug in. Felt like I was going to get thrown off. We're just out of Alcañiz now, heading up a very long, slow valley. Absolutely glorious day. Never seems to end. Haven't been able to film for a while because the road's been so bad, so it's smoothed up a bit now. You just have to concentrate so much, don't you, when you're gravel riding, looking at the road the whole time. So we're at the village that I couldn't pronounce last week, Val de Algorfa, and this is actually now, for me, a little dead end, and I have to come off the Via Verde to head up over the mountain, because the tunnel here has, well, it's dangerous. I don't think it's collapsed, because it's called the Túnel de Equinoccio, and what it means is that twice a year the sun rises at the far end of the tunnel. The tunnel is 2 kilometers long, and the sun lights up the entire length, and it's right here. Oh, when the gates open. Oh, bugger that, I'm going in. I know what the alternative is like. It's a really horrible climb. There's no passar. You shall not pass. But you can see the far end. A bit of danger, but if I can't get through, I'm going to be cheesed off. I think we're going to try it. It really doesn't help that I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't see very well. But I can't wear my shades because I can't see very well. But the space up ahead that you can see looks as though it's got an enormous boulder in it. But it's looked like that since I started. So I'm wondering if it's some sort of optical illusion. It's perfectly possible that the danger comes from flesh-eating zombies. I don't think I'll be able to turn around and get away from them. Not in cleats, still in it. It is long. I thought it was 2 kilometers long, but I'm going to have to check now. Feels longer than that. The question now is the gate in the fence open or locked? Yeah, it's open. Oh, fantastic. Really, really pleased with that. It seems as though the tunnel has really popped us up on top of the hill. So it was a climb up through, but it was very, very, very gradual. And it was at the end of a very, very long hill. So I'm hoping now that we can just crest this little rise in front of us, and then we've got a pretty groovy descent all the way down to the Mataranya River. We're back on a proper, very tiny, loose gravel. It's lovely, smooth. Just feel you're back on track again now. I realised that was a terrible pun. Back on track. Oh. Now last week I was up behind that barrier pointing down at this Via Verde. Seems a shame that some of these buildings just aren't being repurposed, but of course some are. So a little bit further on we'll see one's been turned into a hotel, and another one or two that are turned into restaurants. So I'd have a quick 5 minutes off the bike. It's been 3.5 hours and I've done 55 kilometres. So it's just about the slowest ride I think I can remember. Supposed to be a lit tunnel. Sorry, I've got my sunglasses in my mouth. You wouldn't really call that lit, you'd call those reflectors. I was on a little break. There we go. The next interesting place that we go past is Horta de Sant John. No, it isn't. It's Horta de Sant Joan. And the reason why that's interesting is because Pablo Picasso went to live there twice. The first time was so influential, he later said, "Everything I have learned, I learned at Horta." So Picasso came here at 16. He was a bit low and he came with his friend and they stayed in the cave in the mountains, and when he returned, he decided he wasn't going to continue at the Academy of Fine Arts in Barcelona, where he'd been studying. He was going to chuck in the studying and just go straight to Paris, become an artist, and he did. The second time he came back, he was into his Cubist period. Oh, hello. Wasn't expecting that. It's been made into a alberge, like a hostel with a little restaurant, picnic areas. Lovely. In the Terra Alta bit, there are 20 tunnels and 5 viaducts in 26 kilometres. New tarmac day. Well, this tunnel has got new tarmac and lights. Broken spoke this time. It jammed itself in the chain, threw me off. Quite a funky effect. Didn't mean to leave it on the strobe. Here we have a bar, currently shut of course. Art. I think this tunnel is our last. At this point, after 106 kilometres, we're going to break off and go back via normal roads, rather than carry on the last 26 kilometres to the end at Tortosa. got some reflections on gravel. It's hard. It's hard if the lumps are big. If the lumps are small, it's great. Yeah, that's about it. Gravel's hard. I've got some other reflections. These tyres are brilliant. Really, really good. They were €15.99, which is ridiculously cheap. The only issue I had with them is, like I said when I was in Alcañiz, if you go around a tarmac corner and really lean in, you feel as though it could either go suddenly that way or suddenly push you back out that way. It's really strange, but only if it's around a roundabout. So I tried it a few times on the way back from the Via Verde now, and the same thing happened. If you're pushing and you're really leaning, yeah, not altogether comfortable, but then you don't have to push, do you? Hello, mate. Another odd thing is that I normally suffer from carpal tunnel syndrome. I've had 3 operations on my wrists over the years, and it usually comes on at 23 minutes on the road. On the gravel, it didn't come on until I hit the road at all. And seeing as that ride was (6 hours 52 minutes of cycling), and it only came on in the last hour, and it's normally 23 minutes. I think gravel is good for your wrists. Same thing happened with my bottom. I struggled because of just the pressure over many hours. Well, that was nearly 7 hours. Didn't have any problems at all. I didn't change anything. I meant to put on a different saddle to try, but I didn't change anything. So either I'm just toughening up, or all that bumping actually sort of helps. Anyway, I'm sure you don't want to hear about my bottom anymore, and I don't want to be talking anymore. I want to be sitting down. But that was a really good one. I'll leave some statistics on a page somewhere. But until next time, thanks for watching.